Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec Podcast, where I'll help you create teams worth leading, because life's too short to lead mediocre teams. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor and consultant to tech execs worldwide, and our subject today is vetting. VETTING, in case you don't get my accent. Before getting into business, I have to say something real quick. I'm recording some episodes in advance, and therefore this one is being recorded just as we're at pretty much full war again here at home, which means that we're between sirens and stuff and kids are at home, and therefore I'm sorry that the mic is taking a big part of the frame. I'm trying to record as close to my mouth as possible, so maybe you don't hear the kids playing over there. And also sorry if my mind is a bit scattered. That's just the way I am. When these things happen, I tend to doom scroll way too much, and I find it harder to keep my train of thought. Let's try to make these episodes short so you get what you came here for and I can get back to the real life over there. So vetting, this actually is something that I was thinking about just till a couple of days ago, before the whole world started going berserk, because I noticed this has been happening with a few of my clients as we were talking about their hiring and about the positions that they were filling, about people they hired recently, that we have this problem where the name of the position, the title, doesn't really always translate the same across companies, across people in the same company. And therefore, if someone says, yeah, that's a really good senior engineer I worked with, you might realize that when you hire them, oh, that's not really what I count as being senior. That's a problem. There's a big gap here between your expectations and reality. The same might be happening when you're looking at someone's resume and you see that they have held some sort of titles for a while, and that doesn't seem to really settle with their performance that you see in interviews. Another very common example, I pretty often get founders, CEOs to approach me because they want help hiring a CTO, hiring a VP R&D. And if I just told them, yeah, sure, you want a CTO, let's start hiring for a CTO, I would very probably hire someone that's not what they're looking for, because for a lot of them, when they have CTO in mind, it might be, I need someone very technical to help us with the deep tech. I need someone to manage the engineers. I need someone who's actually going to be hands-on and essentially the lead engineer for the next year. Whatever it is, the title is a catch-all, and if you don't vet people for the specific demands, the specific expectations you have of the role, you're in for a rude awakening. Even if you're an organization that has been around for a while, you cannot assume that everyone can define as clearly and succinctly as you can what the role entails, and therefore when you're hiring, when you have others participate in interviews, because you're only a single person, and if you need to hire a lot of people, and even if not a lot, you need to talk to a lot of people, as in you, the organization, it doesn't mean that you, the listener, have to personally sit in every one of those interviews. You can have others participate so that you can more quickly scan through people, potential candidates, and get to the real deal, get to the people you'll actually want to hire. However, if you don't tell your people how to do the proper vetting, you're going to see that people get to you, to your step in the process of hiring, where you're still like, oh, why did this person pass like 2 screenings so far? This is clearly not a senior engineer. This is clearly not what I had in mind when we talked about someone who is a staff engineer, principal, whatever title you want to call it. This is clearly not someone who's looking to be an employee at a very young startup, to work in an environment that has a lot of flexibility. Whatever it is, we have to do the proper vetting. You cannot just post a job description that essentially says senior engineer and here's the tech stack and assume that everyone that comes your way, even if when you look at the job description in their LinkedIn resume, those things seem to overlap, you cannot assume that that means that they're a fit. You have to do real vetting, because I see so many people who are full stacks, for example, and have delivered and shipped tons of features in their previous company, but did not realize that they had so much support around them. They had no idea how to do that 0 to 1. If you needed to set up a new microservice, a new product, because they entered when those things were set, they knew they could count on DevOps to do that sort of stuff. But if you're a different sort of company, you don't have DevOps, what are these people supposed to do? Are they supposed to sit and wait till they get like permission to do something? I have a story of my boot camp, Israel compulsory service, but I went to be a software engineer essentially, so I didn't do any real boot camp. You do something for a couple of weeks, you shoot a few times in the firing range, and they don't even really try to tell you how to handle it when the weapon jams, because no one expects you to actually do it in combat. So when the weapon jams, what you do is you take your hand up and wait for someone that actually knows what they're doing to come and unjam it for you. This is what you're creating when you're hiring people without the proper vetting. They will come, and when they see something they don't understand, they don't know, if they don't expect this to be part of the role, they just might sit there, raise their hand, and wait for you to come and unjam things for them. Unfortunately, that's not how we create teams that are autonomous, teams that can really achieve amazing results. So, takeaway from today: review your hiring process and think, am I vetting people properly? It's very easy to tell if you've hired like 3-4 people over the last year, and seeing whether you feel like you made a good enough of a job doing that. And if you haven't hired those people yet, think about your gut instinct when you're going to those interviews. When you talk to people, are you asking yourself, why did this person get like 3 steps into the hiring pipeline before I had to realize that this wasn't a good fit or not? Ask yourself, can we vet people better to ensure that whoever reaches these stages, whoever becomes an employee at our team, is someone that's a good fit, because that's the right thing both for us and for them, right? That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. I'm reminding you, Unplugged with Aviv, my new offering, is still at introductory prices, and by the time this episode comes out, I've already had the first live session streamed. However, it just might have been delayed. I don't know, because of the war. Who knows? But anyway, it should still be available for you, as with any other future episode, to view on demand when you want it. So do check that out. Links in the show notes. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, link in the show notes. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, my email's in the show notes. So are you checking the show notes? I'll see you here next week. Thank you. Have a good one. Ciao.